Welcome to my channel, oh valuable chiller. The Lincoln cent might look ordinary, but some dates can turn pocket change into serious money. In 1943, a few cents were accidentally struck in bronze instead of steel, and those rare 1943 bronze Lincoln cents have sold for over $1 million at top auctions. Collectors also hunt for the 1909 SVDB, the first year of the Lincoln cent, known for its low mintage and iconic designer initials. Keep an eye out for era varieties like double dies, repunch mint marks, and off-center strikes. These details can boost value fast. Before spending or saving your change, check those dates and mint marks, because the most valuable Lincoln cent could be hiding in your jar right now. First up, the 1-cent coin of 1980 continues a long-running Lincoln design that started in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. By the time 1980 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for more than 7 decades, making it a familiar piece of American pocket change. However, the 1980 year sits in an important moment in coin history. It is one of the last full years where the penny was made from a bronze alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Just 2 years later, in 1982, the United States changed the composition to a predominantly zinc core with a copper-plated surface. Because of this shift, many collectors pay special attention to late 1970s and early 1980s copper Lincoln cents, especially those that preserved well or show strong strikes and appealing color. When we talk about the 1980 penny, we have to look at where it was produced. In 1980, there were 2 main minting facilities for the Lincoln cent, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia Mint struck the 1980 penny without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck coins with a small d mint mark located below the date on the obverse side. Combined, these 2 mints produce an extremely high number of coins. More than 7.4 billion pennies were made in 1980, which means circulation examples are still very common today. But within such large mintages, collectors search for examples that stand out through eras, condition, luster, or other special traits. The design of the 1980 cent preserves the classic look created by Victor David Brenner. On the front of the coin, we see the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, symbolizing leadership, freedom, and national unity. Above Lincoln is the motto, "In God We Trust," and to the left of his portrait is the word liberty. The date appears on the right side, and if the coin is from Denver, you will find the small d mint mark below the date. The portrait on the obverse is detailed enough that wear and circulation often remove the finer features of Lincoln's hair and beard. Collectors who search rolls often look for 1980 cents that still show strong separation in the hair and beard lines, clean rims, and minimal nicks, making the coin appear sharper and more attractive. On the reverse side of a 1980 penny, we see the Lincoln Memorial Building, a design used from 1959 until 2008. The inscription United States of America curves along the top rim, while the motto E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many, one, is centered above the memorial. Below the building sits the denomination 1 cent. Because the memorial design features fine details, including the tiny statue of Lincoln visible between the pillars, collectors look for coins that preserve the small architectural lines clearly. On circulated examples, these details can fade, so finding a bright and sharply struck 1980 Lincoln Memorial cent can be appealing for collectors assembling date sets or composition sets of copper cents. One of the most interesting parts of the 1980 penny for coin hunters is a variety of errors and striking issues that may appear. Although the majority of 1980 cents were struck normally, this year can include off-center strikes, broad strikes without complete rims, die cracks forming small raised lines on the surface, die chips creating extra metal shapes near Lincoln's face or near the date, and repunch mint marks on some Denver examples. Another highly searched feature is doubling. While major double dies for 1980 are not widely confirmed, collectors still look closely at the motto, the date, and the mint mark for signs of strong doubling that creates thick or overlapping letters. Even a light form of doubling or extra thickness can make a coin more desirable to variety collectors. Another aspect of value potential comes from the metal itself. Since 1980 pennies are made of mostly copper, with a weight of 3.11 grams, the intrinsic metal content gives them a different feel compared to modern zinc pennies. People who collect copper cents often separate them from circulation because these older coins can have a richer tone, stronger durability, and greater long-term interest. While it is important to follow all rules regarding melting restrictions, collectors enjoy holding on to copper cents for future collecting value, and the 1980 penny fits perfectly into that group. To understand what makes a 1980 penny valuable, we need to think like collectors. Most circulated examples are worth face value, but high-quality pieces with deep luster, minimal marks, and strong details can be worth more to someone building an album or looking for a standout example from the final copper years. Brilliant red examples with full details are harder to find because copper reacts with the environment over time, turning brown or losing shine. If someone finds a 1980 penny that still has that bright red look and clean surfaces, it becomes attractive for collectors who appreciate original color and strong eye appeal. Remember, the better the coin looks, the more interesting it becomes to collectors. Rare errors are another path toward value. Off-center coins where part of the design is missing, large die breaks leaving dramatic raised blobs of metal, or coins struck through grease where parts of the design appear weak or missing can draw strong interest. Even though billions of pennies were struck that year, the unique minting mistakes are what make treasure hunting fun. Searching rolls of pennies from banks, checking old jars of change, or looking through inherited coin collections can lead to finding rare variants or strong strikes that others overlooked. The 1980 penny is also part of a bigger story in American coin collecting. It connects the earliest copper cents starting from the early 1900s to the transitional years of the early 1980s when copper was replaced with zinc. Many collectors want every copper year from beginning to end, making the 1980 penny an essential piece in that history. Someone putting together a Lincoln Memorial set or a copper cent set will always include this coin. For younger collectors, the 1980 penny becomes a great starting point because it is easy to find yet full of historical meaning. Collectors also like to compare the 1980 penny from Philadelphia with the 1980 penny from Denver. Though both have massive mintages, there can be subtle striking differences between the two. Some collectors believe that Denver strikes are often bolder due to different press conditions, while others think Philadelphia coins may show slightly cleaner fields. Searching through both types lets hobbyists notice differences in luster, strike strength, and circulation wear. Small details can make coin collecting exciting and personal. Because so many 1980 pennies were made, the chance of discovering sharp examples in circulation still exists. Many people keep jars of old penny collected over decades, and within those piles someone might find a bright red 1980 penny, a coin with unusual doubling, or an off-center strike that has been sitting unnoticed. This makes everyday coin hunting rewarding because even common dates can reveal surprises. Next up, the 1959 United States 1-cent coin, widely known as the 1959 Lincoln Memorial Cent, is a legendary piece of American coinage history and a hot topic among coin collectors, penny hunters, and enthusiasts searching for rare and valuable coins hiding in everyday change. This coin marks the beginning of a completely new era for the Lincoln penny, and in this video we're diving deep into everything collectors want to know, the background of the 1959 penny, why it's historically significant, where it was minted, how many were made, rare varieties, valuable errors, what makes some examples worth far more than face value, and why collectors today keep searching rolls and jars hoping to spot that special 1959 cent. The year 1959 is iconic for United States coinage because it marks the first appearance of the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse. The obverse still shows Abraham Lincoln's profile, originally sculpted by Victor David Brenner, first appearing in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth. But the reverse changed dramatically in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The wheat ears that collectors love so much, the famous wheat cent design used from 1909 to 1958, disappeared from circulation after nearly half a century, making the 1959 penny the very first year of the Lincoln Memorial reverse that stayed in use until 2008. Designed by Frank Gasparro, the new reverse features a Lincoln Memorial building in Washington, D.C., and one small detail that fascinates collectors is that if you look closely with magnification, you can actually see a tiny outline of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, making this the only circulating United States coin to depict the same figure on both sides. There are two main mint varieties for the 1959 penny, the Philadelphia mint version with no mint mark, and the Denver mint version mark with a D. Philadelphia struck a massive number of coins, over 600 million, while Denver struck even more, producing well over a billion. Because so many were made, Most 1959 pennies in average circulated condition are common, but the real excitement comes from the hunt for valuable errors and high-quality examples with strong strikes, brilliant original color, and sharp details that collectors desire. The 1959D penny in particular is well known among coin roll hunters because Denver strikes often show strong minting characteristics that appeal to enthusiasts searching for standout coins. Now let's get into rarity and value potential, because this is where the 1959 penny becomes truly interesting. Even though the majority of 1959 pennies are worth only face value in worn condition, certain features can dramatically increase their market demand. Collectors look for coins that still have their original reddish copper color, minimal contact marks, clean surfaces, clear lettering around the rim, and dark field that bring out the design. When a 1959 penny still shows the original mint brilliance, the kind of shine that makes a coin almost glow, the value can rise significantly because fresh mint luster and preserved color indicate that the coin has been well protected for decades. In addition to condition, the 1959 1-cent coin is famous for error varieties that attract huge attention. One of the most talked about mysteries in United States coinage history involves a transitional style coin claim to show a 1959 wheat reverse. Although its authenticity has been debated for decades, the mention of this rumored coin helped fuel massive public curiosity about the 1959 cent and made collectors pay close attention to subtle details. Beyond that legendary mystery, actual reliable collectible errors include off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, clip planches where the coin blank was cut incorrectly, die cracks that create raised lines on the surface, die chips that create small blobs on the letters or inside Lincoln's coat, and misaligned dies that shift the obverse or reverse design. Any of these visible minting errors can raise the desirability of a 1959 penny far above standard collector interest. When searching through change or coin roll for 1959 cents, enthusiasts focus first on strong details in Abraham Lincoln's hair and beard, because sharp relief indicates a strong original strike. Look also at the lettering in the motto "I in God We Trust" and the date 1959 itself, because fully rounded and crisp letters are desirable indicators of quality. On the reverse, examine the Lincoln Memorial columns and the steps at the base. The steps are one of the most sensitive areas where West shows quickly. If the steps appear bold and well-defined, that coin may stand out visually among others. Collectors also pay attention to the mint luster that flows around the design when the coin is tilted under light. That cartwheel effect is a classic sign of coins that retain mint surfaces. Another key factor in understanding the 1959 penny is its composition. These coins are made mostly of copper, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a true bronze alloy, unlike later years starting in 1982 where the composition changed to copper-plated zinc. Because of this real copper content, 1959 pennies have a richer color tone and heft that many collectors prefer. Copper as a metal also reacts to its environment, which means natural toning can create attractive visual effects over time. Some collectors look for rainbow, red-brown, or chocolate-brown toning depending on their personal taste, and this visual appeal can help make certain coins stand out in the marketplace. The 1959 penny also marks an emotional turning point in coin collecting history. For almost 50 years, Americans were used to seeing wheat ears on their pennies, and many people saved handfuls of wheat cents from daily change because they felt meaningful and nostalgic. Then in 1959, the Lincoln Memorial Cent appeared, becoming the new modern circulation penny. That nostalgic connection to the wheat reverse, combined with the excitement of the fresh modern look of the memorial building, shaped multiple generations of collectors. Many people who started collecting pennies as children in the late 1950s and early 1960s still treasure their first 1959 penny because it symbolized the beginning of something new while honoring America's past. When we talk about value and collector enthusiasm today, it's not just about money. It's about history, rarity, nostalgia, and discovery. People love searching through old jars of coins hoping to pull out bright red 1959 cents or error varieties that tell a story. Many coin roll hunters still include 1959 pennies on their checklist because even after decades of circulation, standout examples are waiting to be found. Whether you discover a sharply struck Philadelphia coin or a Denver example with beautiful color, every collector remembers the excitement of spotting that first gleaming 1959 cent in a pile of dull modern pennies. Next up, the 1976 D 1-cent coin from the United States, also known as a 1976 Denver minted Lincoln Memorial penny, is a fascinating piece of American coinage that connects collectors, history lovers, and those searching for rare and valuable coins in pocket change. Today, we dive deep into the story, the design, the minting details, the varieties, the key errors, and the most talked-about features that make the 1976 D penny one of the most searched coins of collectors and online viewers looking to uncover hidden treasure in their coin jars, piggy banks, and old family collections. If you have ever wondered what makes this coin interesting, valuable, or collectible, stay tuned and listen closely because every detail may help you identify a special piece that could stand out in the marketplace of rare United States coins. The 1976 D penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, during a time when the nation was celebrating the bicentennial of the United States. While the 1-cent coin itself did not receive a special bicentennial design like the quarter, half dollar, and dollar did, the year 1976 remains highly memorable in American history. Millions of Americans were watching fireworks, parades, and celebrations for 200 years of independence, and circulating coins from that year carry a symbolic link to that milestone. For collectors, this year always triggers interest, and the 1-cent coin stands as a part of that era of national pride. The 1976 D penny features a familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, designed by Victor David Brenner. His image first appeared on the cent in 1909 to mark Lincoln's 100th birthday, and since then it had become one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. On the obverse side, you see the word liberty to the left, the motto "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's portrait, and the date 1976 along with the letter D on the right side, identifying the Denver Mint. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro, with the words United States of America at the top, E Pluribus Unum just above the memorial, and the denomination 1 cent below. The reverse design symbolizes unity and the legacy of Lincoln, making this coin not just currency, but a tribute to national history, leadership, and remembrance. This coin was struck in huge numbers, with more than 4 billion 1976 D penny produced. That high mintage means most examples remain common today, but what collectors, treasure hunters, and coin enthusiasts really pay attention to are special features that stand out, things like condition, color, minting issues, and rare die varieties. While large mintage normally makes a coin easy to find, unique details always separate ordinary pennies from collectible ones. So when someone searches online for valuable 1976 D pennies, they're usually looking to understand what makes one coin worth more than another. Even though most 1976 D pennies are made from a copper alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc, certain characteristics influence desirability. Color matters in copper coins. A bright red appearance preserved from the day it left the mint can attract collectors because copper darkens naturally over time. Coins that retain their vibrant red luster often look more appealing and stand out among circulated brown pennies. If someone stored a roll of 1976 D pennies in a dry, cool place for decades, without fingerprints or surface wear, there's a chance those coins remain brilliant. A sharp, strong strike with clear details on Lincoln's beard, his coat, and the steps of the Lincoln Memorial can also add desirability. The deeper and crispier the details appear, the more visually stunning the coin can look when examined. One of the most exciting parts of exploring the 1976 D penny is learning about possible errors and varieties. These minting issues can transform a coin from common to collectible. People constantly search online for doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, die breaks, and misaligned dies. Let's talk about them clearly so you know what to look for if you search through your pennies. A doubled die is one of the most famous types of coin errors. While there are no major confirmed double die varieties for the 1976 D penny is widely recognized as other dates, many collectors search for signs like doubling on the date, doubling on Lincoln's eye, or doubling on liberty. Even minor doubling can attract attention because unusual features make a coin special. Always look carefully under magnification if you suspect unusual doubling or extra thickness in letters or numbers. Another talked-about error is the off-center strike, which happens when the coin is struck without being perfectly lined. If the design is shifted, leaving parts missing or incomplete, that coin becomes visually unique. Collectors typically prefer off-center errors where the date is still visible because the year and mint mark help identify the piece. You may also encounter die cracks and die breaks, which look like raised lines or blobs on the coin surface. These happen when a worn or damaged die continues to strike coins. Some cracks form across Lincoln's portrait, through the date, around the rim, or along the memorial columns. A dramatic die break can create what some collectors refer to as a cud, where part of the design fills with extra metal. These coins tell a story of heavy mint production and worn equipment. Another interesting issue people watch for is struck-through debris, when a piece of material interferes with the striking process, leaving an unusual mark or indentation. These pieces are always one of a kind. If someone finds a struck-through 1976 D penny with a clear and unusual pattern, that coin could become a conversation piece among collectors. Because billions were made, most 1976 D pennies found today are worn from circulation. However, the dream for collectors is finding a well-preserved example with original color and sharp detail, or discovering an era that sets the coin apart. Even though many examples remain common, the search itself inspires attention, curiosity, and excitement. Every time someone flips a coin in their hand and sees a year 1976 with a D below it, the question arises, could this be the one? Could this be a special piece that collectors want? Collectors and online viewers love stories of hidden value. They want to know how everyday change can hide treasures. The 1976 D penny fits perfectly into that world because it's a coin almost everyone has seen, yet few look at closely. If you check old jars, family collections, or coins kept from childhood, you might find one with great color, minimal wear, or an eye-catching minting issue. The thrill of searching, discovering, and learning is what makes this hobby popular on YouTube, social media, and collector communities. The Philadelphia and Denver Mint struck massive quantities in 1976, but only the Denver minted penny carries the D mint mark. While Philadelphia coins had no mint mark at the time, the 1976 D penny gives collectors a clear identifier of origin. The Denver Mint produced billions of cents that year to keep up with demand, fueled by rising prices, inflation, and increased need for circulating coinage across the country. This context helps explain why so many pennies from that era still appear in circulation today. Now we will explore the 1974 penny as part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, one of the most collected coin types in American history. Since its introduction in 1909, the 1-cent coin featuring Abraham Lincoln has become a symbol of American culture and everyday life. By 1974, millions of these coins were circulating in stores, banks, cash registers, and pockets across the United States. But despite its massive mintage, the 1974 1-cent coin holds a unique position in coin collecting because of its composition changes, era rumors, and the well-known controversy around experimental materials that were tested during this era. Most people are familiar with the Lincoln cents made of copper, but not everyone knows the deeper story. Up until 1982, the penny was primarily composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that classic reddish-brown tone that collectors love. In 1974, the U.S. Mint produced more than 8 billion 1-cent coins across multiple mint locations. But behind the scenes, there were serious discussions about rising copper prices and whether the penny should switch to a cheaper metal. That makes the 1974 penny especially interesting because it represents a turning point in U.S. coin history. While regular 1974 cents were copper, experiments were happening at the same time to test aluminum cents as a possible replacement. The aluminum cents never made it into circulation, but the rumors and stories surrounding these experimental coins helped fuel interest in the 1974 penny for generations. Collectors often ask whether the 1974 penny can be valuable. The reality is that most 1,974 1-cent coins are extremely common, but certain coins with strong strikes, clean surfaces, dramatic errors, or exceptional eye appeal can attract serious attention. When we talk about rare pennies worth money, error pennies are usually at the top of the list. For the 1974 Lincoln cent, error coins include double-die obverse coins, double-die reverse coins, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clip planches, die cracks, die breaks, and even dramatic misaligned dies that give the coin unusual shapes and features. These error coins capture interest because they are different from the normal design, and collectors love the idea of owning something unique that slipped through the minting process and into circulation. The most talked about error related to the 1974 penny is a double die. A strong double die can make the coin appear like the letters, numbers, or features of Abraham Lincoln profile are shadowed or doubled. Some of the most searched terms online today include double-die penny, penny worth money, and rare penny errors. When collectors discover doubling on 1974 pennies, especially doubling visible in the motto, the date, or the mint mark area, that coin becomes instantly more interesting. Even subtle doubling on words like liberty or I in God we trust may make a coin worth saving. People often ask how much a 1974 penny with errors can be worth. While values can vary widely depending on the specific coin, dramatic doubling or distinct striking problems can take a common cent and raise its desirability for collectors looking for rare and collectible pennies. Off-center strikes are another type of 1974 penny error that people actively search for. When the coin is not perfectly centered during striking, part of a design may be missing, and the blank planchette area becomes visible. The larger the off-center misalignment while still keeping the date readable, the more appealing the coin becomes. An off-center 1974 penny with half the design missing attracts a lot of curiosity, because visually it looks like something that shouldn't exist. Many collectors love these dramatic mistakes because they are instantly recognizable and don't require magnification to appreciate. Another feature that sparks interest is die cracks or die breaks. These are raised lines or bumps on the coin caused by worn dies used too long in the minting process. Sometimes these breaks create shapes that look like extra metal near Abraham Lincoln's head, beard, coat, or around the rim. Some collectors playfully name these patterns, calling them things like a spiked head penny or cracked skull penny, which increases search interest online and encourages coin hunters to look closer at their pocket change. Collectors love hunting for dramatic die breaks, and with millions of 1974 pennies still circulating today, it is possible to discover one unexpectedly. Sometimes clipped planchette errors appear on 1974 1-cent coins. When part of the blank metal sheet is cut improperly before striking, the penny may have a small curved section missing, almost like someone took a bite out of the edge. These clipped planches immediately stand out and spark excitement among collectors looking for coins that went through unusual minting conditions. Even light clips can make a coin far more interesting than its face value suggests. One of the most intriguing stories involving the 1974 penny revolves around the aluminum cent experiments. While these prototype coins were never officially released into circulation, the possibility that experimental coins existed during this year added an air of mystery to the regular 1974 penny. The idea of finding a coin accidentally released from testing makes collectors search harder, even though the typical 1974 penny you see today is copper. But this historical background still makes the 1974 1-cent coin an important part of United States mint history and a favorite topic among coin enthusiasts discussing rare American coins. If we look at mintage numbers, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1974 pennies with no mint mark, the Denver Mint produced even more with a D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint produced a smaller amount, mainly for collectors. The San Francisco coins with the S mint mark attract attention because they represent the smallest part of the mintage and are often kept in better condition. Even though they are still common, any coin preserved for decades with sharp details and smooth surfaces stands out from coins that suffered wear in circulation. When coin collectors search for 1974 penny value, they often look for coins that have been saved early and protected from scratches, damage, or heavy oxidation. The design of the 1974 1-cent coin features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with a classic profile designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse still displays a Lincoln Memorial, a long-used design introduced in 1959. Many coin enthusiasts enjoy the small detail of Lincoln's statue appearing inside the memorial on the reverse, something that surprises viewers who notice it for the first time. The combination of familiar imagery and hidden detail helps make the Lincoln cent one of the most recognizable and collectible coins in the world. One of the most common questions people ask is whether you should check every 1974 penny you come across. The answer is yes, especially if you are interested in finding rare coins in everyday change. Even today, many collectors enjoy coin roll hunting, searching bank rolls and jars for copper pennies and older dates. Since the 1974 penny is made of copper, these coins also attract attention from people who prefer copper-era cents over modern zinc cents. Many collectors believe that copper cents feel more substantial and look more visually appealing, making older pennies like the 1974 coin desirable to save.